You know that person who never posts anything online? Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's you. While everyone else is uploading photos from their vacation, they're just on the vacation. No captions, no stories, no proof. And while it might look like they're missing out, there's a real chance they've understood something the rest of us haven't. The less you need to prove your life online, the more real it actually feels. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you posted on social media? Now, when was the last time you thought about posting and didn't? That pause matters. Because somewhere between opening the camera app and hitting share, your brain runs a silent checklist. Will people like this? Does this make me look successful enough? Is my life interesting enough for people I barely talk to anymore? That hesitation isn't random. It's psychological. There's a sociologist named Irving Goffman who said that humans naturally wear masks to control how others see them. Social media didn't invent this. It just turned the mask into a performance on a permanent stage in front of hundreds or thousands of people. One awkward post isn't just awkward, it's archived. So people who don't post, they're not failing at the game, they're skipping the performance entirely. Research shows that roughly 30 to 40% of social media users never post. They scroll, observe, and stay silent. Researchers call them lurkers, which sounds creepy, like they're hiding, but a study published in Frontiers in Psychology found something more interesting. When you combine social comparison, fear of judgment, privacy concerns, and pressure to perform, people don't feel inspired. They feel exhausted, anxious, overloaded. So the brain does what it's designed to do. It protects itself by not posting. And honestly, that makes sense. Comparing yourself to other people's highlight reels isn't just unhelpful, it's toxic. You're watching curated moments of success while living your own unfiltered Tuesday afternoon. Psychologists call this self-determination theory. Humans function best when they feel autonomous, when their choices aren't driven by external pressure. Social media does the opposite. It turns self-worth into a scoreboard. Likes, views, reactions. People who avoid posting aren't antisocial. They're protecting their sense of control. Their confidence doesn't depend on strangers validating their life. Studies show that people with more stable self-esteem often feel less need to share. They don't need the feedback loop. They scroll to stay informed or connected, but they keep boundaries. Think about someone you know who rarely posts. When you see them in real life, are they miserable? Lonely? Usually not. Often they're doing just fine, sometimes better than fine, because they're living instead of documenting. Here's the trap most people don't notice. Even if you know social media is fake, your brain still reacts as if it's real. Just scrolling triggers automatic comparison, promotions, engagement rings, perfect homes. Even when you know it's curated, your unconscious only sees one thing. They have more than me. People who don't post avoid this constant psychological hit, not because they're fragile, but because they understand the game is rigged. Why enter a competition where everyone else controls the camera, the angle, and the narrative? And that explains something else. Why some people binge long YouTube videos but avoid Instagram or TikTok entirely. YouTube doesn't demand performance. You can consume without being evaluated. No one's tracking your absence. No one's wondering why you haven't posted in months. It's content without social pressure, entertainment without anxiety. They found the loophole. There's another layer here too. People who avoid social media often have fewer relationships, but deeper ones. They'd rather have 5 people who actually know what's happening in their life than 1,000 passive observers. And research consistently shows this. Quality relationships predict happiness far better than quantity. 10 real conversations beat 1,000 reactions. But don't confuse silence with indifference. These people are often highly observant. They notice changes in posting patterns, shifts in tone, the subtle signs that someone's carefully constructed story is starting to crack. They're not disengaged, they just prefer understanding over performing, depth over noise. Psychologists describe two kinds of self-awareness: public self-consciousness, worrying about how others see you; private self-consciousness, reflecting on your own values and feelings. People who don't post lean towards the second. Instead of asking, "How will this look?" they ask, "How does this feel?" That's not overthinking, that's emotional intelligence. When you stop managing a public persona, you free up mental space for real self-reflection, hard questions, honest growth, and identity that doesn't need applause. And that creates something rare, a sense of self that exists without an audience. Here's what most people misunderstand. Not posting isn't hiding, it's power. It's saying, my private life is valuable enough that it doesn't need to be consumed. Some experiences get worse when you perform them. A sunset is more beautiful when you don't photograph it. A conversation is deeper when you're not drafting the caption. An achievement feels richer when it belongs only to you. Research shows that people who rarely post often have higher levels of self-awareness and emotional stability. They're less affected by the dopamine swings of likes and comments. They're playing a longer game. And here's the paradox. The same traits that make people avoid social media, security, control, self-reflection, are exactly what social media promises: connection, expression, community. Instead, it created a performance economy where silence feels suspicious and authenticity is rare. The people who opt out aren't missing out. They're rejecting the terms. They're saying, I'll connect, just not like this. So ask yourself this: what if the people who don't post aren't missing out? What if they figured it out first? What if choosing privacy over visibility, depth over followers, and presence over performance isn't antisocial, but the ultimate form of self-respect? Because no one reaches the end of their life wishing they'd coasted more, but many wish they lived more. The quiet ones aren't hiding in the shadows. They're living where the cameras can't reach. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing. And if you want to support these deeper psychological explorations, you can join the channel. I genuinely appreciate it.